Hiya! You are watching VideoGaming Father's channel and the review of 2D cooperative puzzle platformer called Degrees of Separation. Is there any catching and touching story in the game that can even make you cry? Are there strong and interesting characters whose fate you will care about? Is cooperative gameplay really required to succeed? Or is it just a marketing trick to increase the sales? Does it bring some fresh innovative mechanics to the genre? Are the controls user-friendly? Is the difficulty set reasonable to make the game challenging yet not punishing? Do the audiovisuals highlight the strong gay atmosphere, or on the contrary, bury the atmosphere 10 feet under the ground? Let's find out together in my Degrees of Separation video review. So let's talk about the story first. The game description says that it has been written by famous video game storyteller Chris Avellone. Yes, it's the guy who has written the plot for Fallout New Vegas or Pillars of Eternity, RPGs that are based on epic stories. It could not go wrong, right? Two contrasting souls, Ember and Rhyme, are separated by an enigmatic force and must use their respective powers to progress through a spectacular world of fantasy and adventure. On their journey, the two will learn to lean one on another, their individual forces working to bring them closer together or tear them apart. It sounds like it might really touch your heart. Unluckily, it did not manage to either touch my heart or to drag my attention. Maybe it's because there is only weak connection between the gameplay and the story. Despite there being a woman voice narrating through the game, the characters on the screen are static all time long. There are no dramatic gestures, no emotions at all. For example, the narrator describes how everything was ruined in the castle, but the characters are going further through the good-looking, colorful environment where nothing indicates that some disaster has happened. This, along with the lack of emotions, made me stop watching the story quite soon. It's a shame considering that one of the best game story writers was involved here. Let's have a look if the gameplay saves the game.
Matching each other's steps.
For the whole game you will be controlling two characters, Ember and Ryan. Both of them have different abilities related to seasons. Ember controls the power of autumn, or at least it seems to me like autumn, so the environment surrounding here is shining by the autumn colors, wind is blowing, water is flowing, and the lampions activating various mechanisms like lifts or pulleys are lighting up. Rhyme, on the other hand, represents the power of pure winter, with the environment in the shades of blue and white, no wind, frozen water, snow, and lights out. So they need to combine their abilities to get through the game. The game is divided into 5 different worlds, and in each of them they need to collect 25 scarves. Of course, it's not as easy as it might sound. Those scarves are usually placed on normally unreachable places where neither Ember nor Rhyme would not get without help of each other. So let's see what such help might look like. Let's say that the scarf is placed inside a flooded house in the spot which is high and blocked by weight on the chain. Ember can swim under the weight to get to the rope that is connected with the weight through the pulley. She jumps on the rope, which makes the weight move up to release the weight for Rhyme. Once Rhyme touches the water, it gets frozen, so Rhyme can walk onto it. Now he can walk under the lifted weight. Ember jumps down to make the weight get down again, so Rhyme can jump onto it to get to the scarf. Mission accomplished. Or there is another puzzle with the watermill. There is a rotating watermill that needs to be used to jump up on the rope that is subsequently used to get to the high spot where the scarf is located. The problem is that there is a water tank under the scarf, so Ember cannot jump up from water to get high enough to reach the scarf. Rhyme could do it by freezing water, but the problem is that his freezing ability also affects the water under the watermill, so it gets stuck in the frozen water and stops rotating, which is crucial to get to its stop to be able to jump on the rope. What's the resolution then? Ember needs to get to the right spot to affect the water under the mill, so it does not get frozen once Rhyme jumps onto the mill's wheel. The mill does not stop rotating, so Rhyme can get on top of it, jump on the rope, then jump to the water tank under the scarf location, freeze their water in the tank to be able to walk onto it, and jump up for the scarf. One more down. And the rest of the puzzles in the first world are like that. You will be using Grime's freezing ability to turn water into the ice, to deactivate the lifts and pulleys, to make the snowball from wooden log, to use it to get to the higher spots, and to deactivate the winds that are blowing your heroes away. Ember's abilities are used to do the exact opposite. To use the water to swim under the obstacles, to activate various mechanisms, or to activate the winds that can blow you to the higher spots. The design of the puzzles is okay, and some of them can really tease your brain and test your imagination. But there is one big minus for me. Solving the puzzles just to collect another scarf is not motivating enough. Just imagine, you spend several minutes resolving a quite complicated issue and the only reward is that you collect another anonymous scarf. No celebration, no decrease in counter, no talking about improving characteristics as there are no RPG elements in the game. The other problem is that you do not know how many scarves to collect remain in the level unless you count them manually. Degrees of Separation is kind of Metroidvania, so you can expect non-linear gameplay and some backtracking. In my Yoku's Island Express review, I was complaining about a confusing map. However, it was still good in comparison to Degrees of Separation as there is no map at all. So prepare to go back and forth in a kind of generic and empty environment with a minimum of interactive objects and no living creatures at all. It sounds like it might become repetitive quite soon, and you can bet that it will. And this is the biggest minus of Degrees of Separation. And honestly, it's a shame because otherwise the game is nice and polished. The difficulty is okay for casual playing, some puzzles can be resolved in a minute, but some of them will make you use much more of your brain capacity. There are neither enemies nor time limits in the game, so the gameplay is rather relaxing. Along with the presence of local co-op, when each player controls one character, it could be an ideal game for family play. The controls are quite okay as well. Truth is that sometimes I had a feeling that it reacted with some delay, or that it did not detect the edges correctly, but as there is no stressing factor in the game, it's not a big deal. You only need movement keys and keys for jumping, switching the characters and calling your companion. Only thing is, that if you are too far from your companion and there is a more complex environment between the two characters, your companion usually gets stuck somewhere and you need to make him find the right way manually. How about the game audiovisuals? Well, I cannot say much against them as well. The graphics are nice, smooth and colorful. I would not be afraid to call the graphics artistic. Especially when you watch the effects of changing the environment depending on the effect on Ember's and Grime's powers. Colors are dramatically changing, water is freezing, wind starts to blow, all real time. The only negative thing is that the environment is kind of empty, but is rather a matter of a game design than the graphics themselves. The music is calm and relaxing and perfectly fits the game. The sounds are also fine and the narration by the pleasant woman's voice makes the game atmosphere better despite not very interesting story. Is Degrees of Separation the game that is worth your money and attention? There are undoubtedly many pros like the original game concept based on environmental changes, some interesting puzzles, relaxing gameplay, casual difficulty, user-friendly controls, beautiful graphics, atmospheric music and sounds, and last but not least, the local co-op. Unfortunately, there are significant cons that spoil the gameplay. Uninteresting story without deep emotions, absence of map, backtracking in empty and non-living environment, and weak motivation based on collecting anonymous scarves, which results in early stereotypes. Degrees of Separation cost €20 on Steam, which is really too much in my opinion, so if you want to give it a try, I would recommend to wait for at least 50% discount. I cannot say that Degrees of Separation is a total disaster, but you can simply find many better puzzle platformers on Steam for the same or even lower price. From those that I have already reviewed, for example, Chariot, Trine or Limbo of course. As I had quite high expectations of this game that were not fulfilled and it started to be quite boring too soon for me, I am giving Degrees of Separation thumbs down and VideoGaming Father's index 5+ out of 10. Not recommended. Thank you for watching my Degrees of Separation video review, and please do not forget to give it a thumb up if you like it, and also to subscribe to my VideoGaming Father's channel not to miss my future reviews. Bye bye!